What's going on, guys? Matt here, coming at you with this killer kit from Atlan Design Group. This is meant to turn your SCX24 into this 3500 HD dually Chevy truck. So when I seen this, I was like, man, that's cool. I'd really like to check it out. And then luckily they actually reached out and asked me if I would want to check one out and do a little review on it. So they did send this over for me to build and see what my thoughts were. So we're going to build this thing out. Basically, you're going to need an SCX24 donor to build this because you're going to need axles, transmission, front links, and then your drive shafts and stuff. But this does come two different ways. Now, you can buy this two different ways. You'll have to check it out. I decided to go with the kind of pre-built, which means it has all of this stuff put together, right? So we've got an SCX24 chassis underneath here. You can see it's got the battery mount, and then they've kind of pieced it together with another section of chassis back here to give us this super long wheelbase. So this thing is like definitely SCX18 scale now, and we'll put it beside one of those when we get done with it. But pretty cool design so far, what I can see. Now this body has some really cool details to it. Tailgate opens. We've got front doors open with a nice full interior in there. And this interior actually is pretty easy to remove. So if you want, you can take this and put some detail into it. You can see the body is on a hinge system with Velcro in the front. So it's going to be very easy to get in and out of our truck. Our battery is going to sit underneath here. And this is just a slide on, slide off interior deal. So you can put your battery in, slide this thing in place, and then throw your body back on. How cool is that? Now you do have to kind of give it a little bit of a spread there when you put that back on, and then you're set. So very excited to build this thing. It does come with all of this stuff right here. So these are our drive shaft extensions that we'll be using. It comes with the original front grille and bumper, I guess. They've actually printed one here that gives us like a winch lead, and it's a pretty good looking print on that. And then we've got our dually wheels. These are resin printed, so they've got some really good smooth edges to them, nice detail. Take a look at them here so you can see. Nice shiny face to them. You could actually take like a chrome pin or something and touch up in there if you wanted to. But here's the rear dually wheels. So you also need 6 tires of your choice. Then we get our rear links because we're gonna have a super long rear link set up here. I don't know if these are, I assume they're meant to go this way. So we've got our rear upper and lower links, and I'm not exactly sure what this is, but it's in here. But just really cool looking setup. I'm excited to get started building this, so we're gonna get to it. So here we are, basically finished up. I say basically because I don't have 2 more boggers for the front yet. So we're just running these tires here until we can get 2 more boggers. I got those ordered up, but these were just mounted on some black wheels and they fit halfway decent. So I went with that because I wanted to get a little bit of running with this. I'm not gonna glue these rears on just yet because I wanna make sure I like the bogger look overall. You guys let me know what you think about those. I do have 2 more on the way for the front. So I would like to have something that's like identical for the front that's a little less aggressive, kind of like these, but not really sure. I just went ahead and ordered 2 more boggers for now. Overall, this was a very simple build. I used C10, or I think it's like 51 millimeter center to center on the front links with the stock like wishbone type setup up top. So then you'll use that drive shaft for like a C10 as well up front. The only oddball thing you will kind of need is you'll need 2 of these sort of female ends for the rear drive shaft. I think this is around 33 millimeters here, 32 or 33 millimeters. You can use that on basically both ends. And then this extension they give us just slides into those. So you'll need 2 of those pieces around that length to make this rear work out. Besides that, everything else is just SCX24, you know, straight bolt over. This is all parts build stuff I had sitting around. I kind of had these axles in a few pieces and just put it all back together, and it worked out well for this thing. So I did end up going with the torque servo up front just because it mounted to the axle and I didn't have the ears hanging over. With these chassis rails, I'd put like a ramp crab on here or something, and I was hitting the ears. I could have chopped the chassis off here and that would have solved the problem, but I just thought, hey, I got this servo sitting, so we'll throw it in here, and it worked out well. It's a very good servo for this. I was gonna go ramp crab just because I'm not gonna be doing like a lot of technical crawling with this, and it would have just been fine. So this is a little bit overkill in my opinion for this build, but it's definitely a good servo. And then you can see underneath here, the interior just slides off, and we can place our battery right here. Motor in here is baby Goliath from CCXRC. And then I went with the Ascent 18 ESC receiver combo just because I had one that I wasn't using, and it works out pretty well in here. When I decided to go with this combo in here, the ESC and motor, I really just thought, okay, this truck's just going to be a looker. Probably not going to run it a ton, so I'm going to just kind of cheap out and use some stuff I had around. And after getting out and seeing how good it looks, I'm going to have to do better. I'm going to have to get a little better ESC motor combo in there more than likely. The slow crawl modulation is just not great. You'll notice it's a little bit start-stop at times. And I've just gotten so used to that super smooth, like brushless setups that it just, it's lacking a bit. You'll see I am running the stock SCX24 2S battery here, and it's got good wheel speed. I'm able to spin up this fairly easy. I was not even maybe half throttle there. This ESC is 3S capable, so I could get more wheel speed, but then the modulation is probably going to be worse. I do kind of wish this body would sit just a little bit lower, but you know, these trucks sit pretty jacked up so most of the time, and so I think it looks fine. And overall, it performed pretty dang good. You know, being this super long wheelbase obviously helps it doing the uphill stuff. Side hill struggles a bit. These axles did have a little brass on the front, so got a little added weight down low that helped it out. You can see those rear links like to hang up sometimes, but that's just a long wheelbase truck. That's going to happen. I mentioned earlier this is available in two different options. They have a do-it-yourself kit, which doesn't come with the body, so I guess you just get like the chassis parts and stuff and links and drive shaft extensions, and that's like $100. And then with the body included, it's $150. Now that option's not actually listed on the site where you can select it right now. It used to be, I know, but it does say in the description that you can request it, so I guess they still do that, and I assume the price is still $150. It's very pricey either way, in my opinion. You know, the SCX24 was just on sale. I don't know if you guys caught my post on that, but Horizon had on their eBay store, you could get the SCX24 for like $65. So you're paying more than double that for this full kit. So it's priced a little high, in my opinion. It is really nice. The body is a little bit basic. I mean, it looks really good, but there's some things about it that are just very, very basic. The rear tail lights, they're just kind of like blacked out. There's like no lenses in them or anything. So it's lacking a little bit on the detail side. It just needs a few extra touches, like a back glass and maybe a couple windows in the rear or something. And then we can go around with a paint pen or something and fill in, you know, the Chevy emblem and just give it a few added touches, and then possibly do some work on the interior as well. I wish the seats sat just a little bit lower. We probably would have had to relocate the battery, but if we could have got the seats down just a little bit lower, we could have had a little space between the steering wheel and the seats. And then I'd also like to have kind of seen a floorboard printed into the seat mount as well, so that we had an actual floorboard inside the truck, so we could really get into some detail on the inside. They also have this available in a Ram 3500 setup that comes with sort of a camper on the back, or just a flatbed, I think, or the regular stock bed. It's like a 3-in-1, so that's pretty cool for anybody that's a Dodge fan. I just really liked this Chevy body, so I had to go with it, but that's a really cool option as well. So definitely a cool kit. I worry a little bit about the links being so long and printed. Like, I break every printed link that I've ever owned. So maybe because this is, being a trail truck, I'll be a little easier on it. Obviously, I'm not going to be going full blast with this. So maybe I won't break them. Hopefully I don't have an issue with those or the drive shaft extensions. That's really the only thing I'm kind of worried about, being printed parts. It did come with an extra drive shaft extension, so if we do break that, we have an extra. And the links are super thick, so I don't really think there'll be a problem. Most of the time I'm going to be more trailing with this. This right here is really the roughest amount of rock crawling I intend on doing with it. I actually pushed it a little bit more here than I was planning on, so I think it'll be okay. It definitely looks the part already, and with a little bit of detailing, it's just going to be amazing. I'm thrilled with the looks of it overall. Can't wait to get started doing a little bit of scale work to it. So you guys let me know what you think about it. They also have a kit where you can adapt the big country trailer to it. It's kind of a lift kit for the trailer. I think it kind of looks a little funny. But if you want to run that trailer, you can do that as well. So I'll link all of this stuff in the description. You guys let me know what you think about it. I'm super pleased with it. And like I said, ready to get rolling with a little bit of detail work. So stay tuned for that and hang around just a little bit longer. I've got a little size comparison showing it next to the SCX18 platform. So I appreciate you guys sticking around. Don't forget to like, subscribe, click the bell. Peace. Here's a quick size comparison for you guys that stuck around. This is slightly longer wheelbase than the SCX18 platforms. You can see here just a little bit longer and slightly more narrow compared to this one. Same. So it's a very long truck, a little narrow with the dualies on the back. Obviously, we're sitting pretty wide back there, so that does kind of help you on side hill. One thing I didn't mention with this heavier body, anytime you go with a hard body on these things, on an SCX24, probably gonna want a thicker gauge spring. You can see my shocks are sitting a little jacked up right now because of the way I mounted the rears. I wasn't sure exactly how I was gonna do those, but these are some Mofo oil-filled shocks. They're like old shocks. I don't even know if he has these anymore, but they had a thicker gauge spring to them. So they seem to work. But I've got one you can see on the left side. I don't know what's up with that. It's like bowed to the side. So may end up changing shocks at some point. I just had those around. But you will want a thicker gauge spring on there or a different shock, because to hold this hard body up at all, you're going to need it.